Hello there, it's Gabby here from Confidence After Cancer, and I hope this finds you well. I am so excited this week to introduce a very special guest onto my podcast. You may have heard of her, and if you know anything about personal development or coaching or mentoring, you may well have heard of Fiona Harrold. I'm so pleased that she's going to come on my podcast this week. So before we talk to Fiona, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about her background. Fiona Harrold is one of the pioneers of coaching. Her first book, Be Your Own Life Coach, was an instant bestseller in 2000 and sparked the coaching movement in Europe. Named one of the new gurus by the Times, she is the author of multiple books, including The 10-Minute Life Coach, Speed Up Your Success, and The 7 Rules for Success. She created the first coaching program for prison officers in the UK after an inmate wrote to say he was coaching his fellow inmates using the Be Your Own Life Coach book. How amazing is that? She works with entrepreneurs and executives to build a great life and business and to have more influence and impact by being thought leaders in their field. She's behind the scenes secret weapons of some of the biggest names in business and in public life. Fiona has spoken on stages around the world, including Dubai, Europe, and across the US. She lives in London and she is fueled by a passion to make a bigger future than her past. And so that really ties in with the theme of Confidence After Cancer. We can all make our future better than the past, no matter what's happened before. I'm sure Fiona's going to have some great advice. So bear with me for a minute and let me introduce Fiona to you. And this week on Confidence After Cancer, I've got a very special guest. I'm so excited to speak to this lady. As you know, if you've been following me for a while, Confidence After Cancer is all about making your future better than the past. And so I've got the ideal guest for that this week, who knows all about that. And Fiona is going to talk to us. If you think that change is hard, or maybe if you feel that you lack confidence to move forward in your life, again, I've got the perfect guest for that, and that is Fiona Harrold. So welcome, Fiona. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, and it's great to see you.
Thank you so much, Gabby. I'm delighted to be here. Really thrilled to be here with you.
Great stuff. So I was in the introduction, I talked about your books and your background and all the coaching that you've done in the past. But this week, it's strange. This subject keeps coming up. Somebody else has reached out to me this week about this very topic, and it was quite spooky because it's something we'd already talked about having a podcast all about, and that's self-sabotage. And so self-sabotage sometimes can stop you moving forward. So I'd really like to pick your brains, Fiona, as somebody who's an expert in this field. How can you really stop self-sabotage, stopping you move forward? Yeah, so why don't we start off by, if people are not quite sure, what is self-sabotage? What is it and why do we do it? Let's start.
Great question. Well, look, the thing is, we are our own worst enemies. We are our own harshest critic. And the moment that we realize that is the beginning of our freedom, because we're aware that we're potentially doing it, right?
Yeah.
And so, self-sabotage is just, I guess, a name that covers that. You could also use imposter syndrome, but whatever phrase you use, when it comes down to it, it's you, it's us getting our own way. And the first place to start with, shall we say, evolving beyond that, is to notice that it's happening. Because if you're oblivious to that voice in your head, that inner critic, then it's going to run riot. And you've got no control over it. You've got no say in the matter. You're at the mercy of it. So look, the good news is that anyone who's listening to this right now, you are beginning to free yourself even more than you have already, because you're going to be watching out, you're going to be listening. And then the thing is, you got to make a decision. I think in this life, one of the most important things to do is to make a decision, make a declaration of intent. It honestly doesn't matter what your current circumstances are right now. You can make a declaration of intent over your life. Sounds like a little bit biblical, and it is a little bit biblical. You can speak over your life anytime you like. And the reason that I like that is that it's you getting on side. It's you having a conversation with yourself, with your maker, with your higher self, with higher power, with God, source, spirit, whatever it is for you. It's you having that moment in time where you declare, this is how my life is going to go from now on, regardless of where I am right now, you see? And that's the beginning of your empowerment. And that is the beginning of you creating a bigger future than you have right now. It has to start with a declaration of intent. It has to start with a decision. Making sense, Gabby?
Absolutely, Fiona. Absolutely. Love what you're saying.
For God's sakes, or I'll just keep going.
No, that's absolutely great.
God, is she going to stop?
It is great. And I think that's really speaking to me as well, because, I know this stuff and I've been doing it for years. But as somebody that has reached out to me this week has said to me, well, yeah, but thing is, I'm sort of in this habit now of, feeling like I can't really change. I've been doing this too long. Am I too old to change my ways? What do they say? You can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I think people sometimes use that, maybe not as an excuse, but really believe that they're too old to change and it's always going to be this way. And who am I?
You can't think like that. You cannot think like that. And honestly, Gabby, those words, I just interrupted you. Those words that you just said, who am I? Yeah. Those are really important words. Yeah. And when you hear those words, it's not bad news, because what it means is that you're seeing the next stage of your growth, and it's activating the doubt and fear within you to come to the surface. And that's a really good thing. That's a really good thing, because the doubt and fear is there anyway. You're just bringing it to the surface to be released and let go of. And it's what you do at that point that makes the difference. It's whether you slink back to your comfort zone and the familiar, or whether you go, no. I'm going to go beyond this. I'm going to confront this. I'm going to drive a truck through it. It's not stopping me. Not now, not never, not anymore. Right? So these are all the conversations that we get to have in our head. These are the stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves. And I believe that if one has gone through a big, shall we say, wake-up call or crisis in one's life, then I think you deserve to go, I'm not doing that shit anymore. I'm not indulging in it. I'm not allowing it. I mean, not now, not anymore, not never. So here's what you want to do. When I'll give you the reason I understand this so well. When I got my contract for Be Your Own Life Coach, it was great. I mean, it was a dream come true. It was like, whoa, wow, this is amazing. And then when I sat down to write, not a word would come. Wow. And I sat there, in 1998 with my little brother word processor, and it pulled off the pages and you faxed them off to London and your editor faxed back all her changes like back in the day, but not a darn word would come. And I had signed, obviously, a legally binding contract. There was a very substantial amount of money that I'd signed for. And whoa, I just thought, what have I done? Like, what have I done? And you know what I thought? Who am I? That's what I thought. Who am I? Who am I to do this? Hello. I'm not a trained anything. I'm not a trained counselor. I'm not a trained therapist. I've overstretched myself, because what I'm good at is communication. I can get into the newspaper. I can get into the media. So it was on the back of a half page in the Daily Telegraph that publishers had reached out to me. And of course, opportunity comes knocking. What do? You say yes. And you figure it out later. So I'm sitting there with this little word processor going, oh my God, who am I? This is crazy. I should call them. I should come clean. I should just say, listen, your readers, you deserve someone who's right for this. And I thought to myself, who am I kidding? I've spent most of the advance already. And then I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. And then what I did next is the really important thing. I remember something that my dad had said to me like 20 years earlier. My dad was a self-improvement fanatic. He was always listening to Norman Vincent Peale and Dale Carnegie and all that in the car, these great big, thick cassettes. But he was a salesman. He was a door-to-door salesman. And he was the best in the country. He sold vacuum cleaners and washing machines door to door in Northern Ireland, where I grew up. And he was just sensational. And his secret was this. He said to me, Fiona, never try and sell something that you're not sold on already. yourself.
Wow.
Sell it to yourself first. Sell it to yourself first. And that's what we have to do, Gabby, in life. And we have to do it on a regular basis, because every time we think of that next big step, you got to sell it. You got to sell it to yourself. I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I sat down and I made a simple list. Reasons why I am uniquely positioned to write this book. Didn't take long, Gabby. Honest to God,
Great.
15 minutes later, I was good to go. And any sort of writing block was gone forever. And I hit the keyboard and I knocked it. So we have to do this. And you know what? It wasn't until years after that I came across Maxwell Maltz, who wrote a very best-selling book called Cybernetics. Oh God, something like that. Some crazy.
Yeah. I remember that book. Yeah.
Right. Now that whole book is about one thing and one thing only: your identity.
Yeah.
How you see yourself. And he said, the most important sale you'll make in your life is selling you to you. He literally
that's
said,
deep.
Yeah, he said those
That
words.
is deep.
Yeah, except my dad had said the same thing to me 20 years earlier. Right?
Yeah, but sometimes I know sometimes you have to hear the same message more than once.
Yeah.
That is ringing true. Everything you're saying, Fiona, is ringing true to me with so many people that reach out to me. And I do think whether you've had a cancer diagnosis or not, a lot of midlife women, particularly, it's probably men as well, but a lot of people that I know, they struggle with their identity because they feel like they've lost their youth, or they've lost their family. Maybe their family's grown up and they've got empty nest syndrome. All these things sort of talk to loss, not gain. It's all about what have I lost? Oh, I regret this, and this has gone out of my life now.
No,
and it's almost like that's not the stuffing out of them. It's taken the energy away from them. And it's sort of, and I feel some people shrinking down. And I know that little voice inside of them is pulling them down and down. So if you're feeling like that, how do you change? How do you move forward?
Well, look, the absolute truth is you got to get around the right people. Right? So anybody who's listening to this, you're going to feel an uplift. I mean, you just are. You can't not. Because I believe in my heart of heart, I know in my being everything I say. You're going to feel the truth of that. You're going to feel the truth of my words. You are. It's an energy. You're going to feel the truth, the conviction that Gabby feels, and that's going to make a difference. And you got to get around the right people. You can't be around naysayers. You can't be around people who aren't going to pull you forward. You got to be around people who are going to see that potential, who are going to snap you out of the right. You've got to have people that you can go to celebrate your success with, but who are also going to challenge you. Right? Ignore my cat. He's very annoying. Milo. So you've got to be around the right people. You've got to be in an environment of expansion and possibility, of dynamic people who are forging ahead in life and who will feed you, and you're going to feed off them just being in that atmosphere, right?
I love that, Fiona. And again, going back to my cancer connections in the groups that I'm in, some of the people are like, oh, what, you know, who wants to listen to little old me and my story? And I'm like, you're a 25-year survivor. That gives hope to other people. They know they're in the right place. They can look at you and you tell your story. And if somebody's having a wobble and thinking, oh, I'm in another group and people are saying, oh, it always comes back and my life will never be the same again. And it doom and gloom. Get out of that group. Just stop listening to that because that's not. Don't walk, run. Absolutely.
Yeah. And look, the thing is, people don't really want to hear about one's sad story. I mean, they don't. Here's what they want to hear about: the transformation, the lessons, because people are listening out for how they can apply our story. You know, the what's in it for me. I don't think that's a bad thing. You know, we're all tight on time. And truthfully, what we're thinking is, what can I take from this that's going to be useful for me? You know, the real challenge is to take one's story and turn it into a learning, a lesson, a transformation for the audience, right? That's the real thing to do. That's the thing to do. And there's so much in one's life experience that's so valuable to share. I mean, I teach people to do this, to put it into a talk. And the reason I'm saying this is to say that in a 30-minute talk, I teach people to start with their story, but that story is about 5 minutes maximum. And then we're into the what's in it for you. I think that's important, right? The reason you're sharing your story is to share your credibility.
Right.
It's to share your credibility. It's not to share, ooh, this
Poor me. Yeah, poor
right?
me.
Nobody cares. Sorry.
Yeah.
And frankly, you probably don't care either, right? You're over it. You want to move on.
Over that. Yeah.
So good God, who wants to dwell there? So 5 minutes, I would say, out of a 30-minute talk is your story. Then let's get into the content, right?
Yeah, love it.
Then let's get into the big lesson, the big learning. Let's get into the transformation, the on the other side. So from that place, from that learning, here's what I did. And then your audience is listening going, whoa. And by the way, it doesn't have to be that you're now a millionaire or that you own 20 businesses, right? It really doesn't. So please don't think that, anyone who's listening. It just needs to be you're maybe 2 steps ahead of where your audience is right now.
Yeah.
Right.
And do you know what, Fiona? I think as well, at the minute, if you look on the media or whatever, there's so much doom and gloom out there. Just to be happy and healthy is a shining light for a lot of people. That's what they're looking for. That's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear any more bad news or it's the economy or it's this or it's that. We're done with that now. It's about what we can control. I really believe that. It's about, for me and the people I'm working with, taking responsibility and thinking, yeah, we know all that. We're not going to focus on that because who wants to do that? Like you say, that's just going to drag you down. And so I think as well, when people come to me and say, oh, I'm not sure if I can change, I've got these habits, I've always been like this. Yeah, where do you go with that? Well,
you got to snap out of it. You got to decide, do I want to change?
Yeah.
What do I want to change? What's a new vision for my life? You know what the Bible says, people perish without a vision. So you got to get a new vision for your life. And you got to get excited about your life. People can change in a New York heartbeat. They can change when they make the decision, right? When they make the decision. This is why it starts with a decision, Gabby. And look, here's what I think. I honest to God believe that when we go through a crisis, whether it's cancer or whether it's running out of money or a business failing or a divorce, right? Some big episode in our life, there is a huge opportunity for a learning and an advancement. And we got to get that learning, because here's what I honest to God know for true. If we don't get the learning, if we don't get the lesson, hello, it's going to come out.
That's so true. I've seen that in my own life. Yeah. Keep on doing the same thing and expecting different results is,
precisely.
What do they say, the definition of madness. Yeah.
Take it as a wake-up call. Whatever happens. And this is not blaming anybody. This is not blaming anybody for anything. No. I'm just saying every time we have a huge event that happens, take an opportunity to look at what you might want to be changing in your life. I mean, I'll just give you a very brief example. And of course, it's not a huge health challenge like cancer. Of course it isn't. I know that. But I got really scared just recently because I lost my voice for 5 days. Like, my voice is my everything. Hello. And I literally had a conversation with God, which simply said, please, could I have my voice back? And if I did a deal, I said, look, if I can get my voice back, I promise I'm going to use it more. I'll speak on more stages. And I'm going to teach other women, other people, probably mainly women, to share their message and to get on stages as well. So I promise I'm going to do that. You see, what scared me, Gabby, was that my mum had lost her voice and it never came back. Right? Oh, no. I called her one day. One day she was fine talking like this. And the next day I called her and she could hardly talk. So that really scared me. And here's what I saw in those 5 days. It was like a silent retreat. I couldn't talk to anybody. I had to cancel everything. Couldn't talk to a client, nothing. And in those 5 days of that like silent retreat, I realized there's no guarantees. I might get my voice back. I might not. Doesn't matter what medication I'm taking, homeopathic or otherwise, or what healing I'm getting. There's no guarantee. That for me was a wake-up call. So here's what I saw. My voice came back on the 5th day. And I said, okay, I'm going to honor my promise. Thank you. I'm going to honor my promise. And I had been planning to move to Ibiza, like for the winter. And I realized I'm not moving to Ibiza. No.
Wow.
I need to go to a place where there are people and there are stages, people and stages. And it was completely clear where I was going. I was going to London. And here's what's happened in the past 30 days. And I share this because I want you to know, everyone who's listening, the hardest part is sometimes making the decision. I absolutely promise you that once you make the decision and you're on the right path, things will open up for you. It's the fear of change that's much greater. In the past 30 days since making that decision, everything has opened up for me. This house is, somebody else is going to be living here, quite frankly, in 2 weeks' time. They're called tenants.
Yeah.
They're moving in. I'm going to London. I've got a fabulous dream flat that's fallen in my lap. That's perfect for me. And you know what? There's just no hesitation. I know it's the right thing for me. But you know what? Maybe on some level, I needed that little bit of a shock, because otherwise I'd be heading towards Ibiza and a lovely life there, right?
Yeah.
So is this making sense, Gabby?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I love what you're saying. There's a few things that I'm picking up from what you're saying. One is about making the decision. And once you've made that decision, if you like, the stars align, sounds a bit woo-woo, but it is. And you get more of what you focus on. I really believe that. I really believe that in life. The other thing that I'm really picking up on is, you talked about your dad. You talked about things that you listen to. And I really believe in the power of mentors and the power of surrounding yourself with the right people. If you want a positive life, don't surround yourself with negative people. I think that's a huge lesson for me. And I'm hearing from what you're saying as well, that's come out in the work that you do and the journey that you've been on, is you've been around the right people. And so for me, Fiona, again, on the very personal level for me, what's in it for me is, I know I signed up for your pocket coaching because I get your little snippets every day. And instead of switching the news on and watching another terrible thing and another disaster and another thing to be scared of, I listen to your coaching and it uplifts me for the day. It sets me up for the day. And it's more positive stuff and I can't get enough of that now. I'm done with the doom and gloom. I'm done with being sick, and I want to move forward into a positive, happy, healthy phase of my life. And I'm the driver in that. I feel like I'm in the driver in that seat. Yes, I need help, and I need people around me to like people like yourself that I can be inspired by. And that's the people I work with as well. I want to be that guiding light for them. So, it's so much of what you said. I'm going to listen to this again and again, I think, Fiona, because I can pick so many things. I'd really like to be able to share, anybody who's listening to this, share a link to your pocket coach. How long are they, the little sessions that you do?
Oh, gosh, Gabby, yeah, there could be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Could be 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're so right. You've got to be feeding your mind, consciously feeding your mind with good quality nourishment. Sometimes you can hear a single sentence, and that's the thing that just changes how you're looking at things and how you're looking at your day and how your day goes. So absolutely, when there's so much doom and gloom around, Gabby, we've got to be sort of replacing that with our own upliftment. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I'll give you a link to my pocket coaching. It's completely free. I'd love people to have that. Absolutely. And also for your audience, Gabby, what I'd love to do, maybe for the first 7 or 8 people that reach out, I'll put a link to my email. Just email me and just put Gabby in the subject line. And then what I'll do is I'll jump on a call with you. We'll do a 15-minute strategy session, real laser, and I'll identify the number one area of sabotage in your life and what we can do to change that, like immediately.
That is fabulous, Fiona. I'm hoping anybody is watching or listening to this, please take Fiona up on her offer. This is a real gift for you. She's offering to jump on a call just for you. It's all about you, and it's get to that root of that issue, that whatever it is that you've got. And again, it'll be a confidential call with Fiona. Wow, that's so generous of you. Thank you so much, Fiona.
Yeah, well,
So
thank you for
pleasing.
all you're doing, Gabby. This is fantastic. Yeah, you're making a great contribution to uplifting people and getting them focused and on the right track. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great stuff. So I think we've covered everything that really is. It's a short session today, but so profound. I think I'm going to listen back to this because there've been so many little nuggets of things that you've given us there, Fiona, because it's a real block for some people. Oh, I can't change. Oh, I can't move forward. Oh, I always do this. That little monkey mind in their head, but they can change that. And I think you've given us
I'm just going to say one last thing. Accountability is something that we all need, because it's very easy to make a decision and just for the old ways to take over. I mean, a year ago, I did a talk in London. I did an event in London, and I came away going, right, that's it. I'm going to do a ton more of this. I don't know why I'm not doing it, but I'm going to do a ton more. Do you know how many, Gabby, I have done on stage speaking in that past year?
No.
None. But listen, I want people to hear this.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm lazy, and it's the same for you. It's not because you're lazy. It's not that you're not motivated. When I look at that, the reason is quite simple. There's only one reason. I did not put in place a structure of accountability.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody was saying, hey, how's that going? Hey, what do you need to get that moving? Hey, let's get right. What's your goal? Is it 2 a month or 1 a month or 4? So if someone is listening to this and thinking, God, I set goals and I don't make them happen, please don't blame yourself. It's your strategy. It's probably your strategy. I want you to hear this. Put in place some sort of a structure for support and accountability that keeps you on track, right?
Love that, Fiona. It's so true. And I know my own life as well. That's the time I've got the best results, and the time that things have happened for me. It's when I've been in that situation and working in that way with it. Life gets busy. We know that. We can all be busy all day long doing all the things that are not helping us. And
move forward and get something different, you see.
Yeah.
So I ignored doing what I'm supposed to be doing for a year. I don't think it's a coincidence. I then lost my voice and experienced what it's like to lose my voice. Sometimes people think I'm brave and say I'm brave because I will make a big change in my life. But you know what the real truth is, Gabby? It's not that. It's that I absolutely know that if one doesn't listen to the whisper, there's something bigger coming.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got to be listening and paying attention. Life is about growth. And a lot of the time that's not comfortable. Life isn't necessarily about comfort. It's about growth.
Love it. And I think that's a perfect note to finish on, Fiona. Yeah, thank you so much for our talk. I've loved it. We'll have to do another podcast about another subject, I think, because I could speak to you all day. You've got so much experience and so much generosity of what you're sharing with people, stuff that people need to know. So thank you so much. And we'll put the links below. As Fiona said, she's offering a free session. We've also got a link to Fiona's pocket coaching. So if you want that little boost of positivity every day, I love that. Sets me up for the day. Please click on the link below this podcast. And thank you so much, Fiona. Have a blessed day. And I'll speak to you very soon, my love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi, I just wanted to summarise what I took away from that conversation with Fiona Harrold. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. She's somebody that I have admired from afar for a long time. So for me, it was a real thrill to actually be able to speak to her. And the things I took away from the conversation with Fiona was, first of all, something I've talked about before, which is you've really got to stop your inner critic dragging you down. That little monkey mind that we all have, we want to turn that from being our worst critic into our best friend. The big thing that Fiona said today was about making a decision. Okay, no matter what's happened in the past, no matter where you are now, you can change that. But it all starts with making a decision that you decide that you are going to have a vision for your life of how you want it to be. And from this day forward, you're going to work towards that vision. If you need to, you can ask for help. You can get a coach, you can get a mentor, but it all starts with that decision. And Fiona said what was really important for her, the thing that moved her forward when she was stuck, was having an accountability partner, somebody who kept her accountable, somebody who questioned her and she didn't do what she said she was going to do. Maybe you need that. And if you do, I'm here for you. Fiona's here for you as well. I think midlife, as we talked about, can be a time when you lose your identity for whatever reason, a variety of reasons. It doesn't matter. But you get to choose how your story ends. That's the real important takeaway for me from today. The other thing that I just want to remind you of is Fiona's Pocket Coaching. You can sign up for that. There will be a link below this podcast where you can do that. 5 minutes, if that, every day, of just a thought for the day, of something positive to give you a little bit of focus, something thought-provoking. I really enjoy that, starting my day with Fiona's Pocket Coaching. And lastly, that free coaching offer that she's offering out to anybody who listens to this podcast. Drop her an email, just mention my name, Gabby, and she will be very happy to jump on a call with you, talk about your personal situation and give you some coaching. So that's her gift from this podcast for you. So as always, thank you so much for listening, for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, I hope you have an amazing day. I hope you have a fabulous week, and please reach out to me if I can help you in any way. Speak soon, my lovely. Take care. Stay safe. Stay sane. Bye-bye.